Let's get to Campus Reform Media Director Cabot Phillips. All right, academics talk about free speech. They teach free speech, supposedly, but now we've got them shutting down Steve Mnuchin, not letting him speak.
And the funny thing is, most of these students probably have no idea who Steve Mnuchin is or his role within the Trump administration, but they're still shouting him down, trying to keep him from speaking. And these are the same protesters, these same people on campuses saying President Trump is childish, he doesn't act the way he should, and yet they're acting in a childish manner, hissing and booing like it's elementary school.
Well, who's putting him? Why are they doing it? Are the teachers telling him to do it?
I think a lot of it starts with the narrative that's given to them. The narrative most of these students get in class is that if you're associated with anything on the right, you're evil, it's an opinion that you cannot have, it's unacceptable, it's fascist. And so these students think, oh, someone is here associated with Trump, I have to protest them to prove to my peers, to prove to everyone else on my college campus that I don't stand for these ideas. So, it's the same thing we saw. They did this with Betsy DeVos, Jeff Sessions, Mike Pence, anyone that's associated with the right. It's not just big-name speakers. It's anyone associated with President Trump, conservatism in general, is shouted down. These students are not allowing free speech to thrive, and it's really putting themselves and everyone else on campus at a disservice. It's doing a disservice to them by not letting these ideas thrive and letting conversations
Don't they
exist.
understand that, their student college debt is because of certain policies that have not made colleges competitive, right? And so the tuition debt is going through the roof. Would they have been heckling Obama's Treasury Secretary, or George W. Bush's Treasury Secretary?
They may have been heckling President Bush's secretary just because he's a conservative, but we've seen this time and time again. It doesn't even have to be a controversial speaker. We've covered at Leadership Institute's Campus Reform. Anyone who comes to campus with a view different than what people are getting in class, they're shut down, they're heckled. All of these things happen. And really, how do these students expect to get to the real world? College is supposed to prepare you for your career. Are they expecting to look at their boss and hiss and heckle if they don't like it?
Look at this video. Lewis and Clark College liberal protesters shutting down conservative speaker, blocking entry to the venue, really shouting her down. This happened. You have a hotline, you have a tip line. Yeah. You're hearing about this across the country, right? Contact
at Campus Reform. We have people sending us things all day long, tips from students just like this. This is not an anomaly. And this person speaking, Christina Hoff Sommers, ironically was giving a talk about empowering women, but because she didn't agree with the modern leftist feminist version of that, they shouted her down. There were administrators in this room who allowed all of this to go on. They gave tacit approval to it by saying, well, this is free speech. When you're trying to shut down the opinions of speakers coming to your campus, you're not allowing free speech to go on.
That's a good point.
There needs to be accountability.
Now we've got Bill Maher, HBO host, recently being honest about the easily offended, saying it mostly comes from a certain demographic. Are we going to show the soundbite? Okay, we don't. So we don't have the soundbite. Let's step back. We covered Antifa riots throughout, a couple of years ago, going through last year. Where's Antifa now?
They're still prevalent. There are college, there's the Campus Anti-Fascist Network is what they call themselves. Professors have helped start these around the country. And I think we haven't seen as many.
So they're still there, they're just not rioting? Well, how come they're not rioting?
A lot of it has to do with the fact that universities are doing a better job of protecting free speech in some cases because they realize how much negative press happens when you have a UC Berkeley incident. And so schools are spending a lot more money to beef up security to make sure these violence doesn't break out. The bad part is, though, many times they're putting those security fees off on the conservative student groups, making them pay for it.
Thanks so much for coming on. Really